Back in 1983, in the number 18 of the Journal of the Travelers Aid Society, J. Andrew Keith wrote an article called Traveling Without a Starship, which at the time really blew my mind when thinking about Traveler and how we generally go from system to system and don't spend time, or at least I didn't at the time, spend time in the system and how much can be found within an individual star system. So that's always been in my mind. It inspired the campaign that I'm running now, and it inspired this update to As Above, So Below, which I'm going to show you now. In my campaign, the guys started in the Romantino system, and you can see that I have a full system set out, all the planets, that's all generated. Now, I didn't actually generate that using my program because it predates my program. So I had to sort of import an old system generated from GURPS first in into As Above, So Below. I just did that by building the JSON manually and then loading it in. But now we've got it. I've got this neat new feature that if you have any system in As Above, So Below that you've generated that has all of the planets, you can now take a look at them in another way. Besides coming over here and clicking and seeing all the different moons and where they all are, we can go take a look. So if we take here at Romantino and we zoom in and we zoom in and we zoom in and we zoom in, if we keep zooming in, boom, we get, I'm going to start it with this checked off, we get a picture of what the system looks like. And by default, it's going to be a logarithmic scale. So in order to sort of fit everything into one and to make it look nice, we have this logarithmic scale. We understand that these external orbits are out further in a real linear scale. But we can see the main world there. We can see the green habitable zone. Romantino is the main world. And my guys actually started on this moon right here, moon I1, rotating around Romantino 3. And that's where their adventure started, on a research base on that moon. And they eventually made it out to Romantino and spent some time there. And then they left the system. And we can zoom out, and I can take you to where they jumped over here into Sabai and went down into the Sabai system. And once again, we're on the logarithmic view, but if we really want to take a look at things in a realistic sort of sense, we can click on the linear, and it's zoomed out so you can see everything. And you really get a sense of scale when we come in and zoom 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 in. And now we can see that, okay, there's two stars and then these planets over. And if you get frustrated with things moving around, you can always just slow them down or stop them. And Sabai is here, and you can see, I can see 24 degrees is one of the few systems or the few worlds in the subsector that has a breathable atmosphere. It's mostly pretty hostile in my universe. So 24 degrees, heavy, 146 is sort of the limit of being comfortable. And we can see it orbits the two stars, and there's in there somewhere is an asteroid belt. And come back out, and they jumped over to Marcolandia. We'll come into Marcolandia. A lot of gas giants in Marcolandia and moons, and you can see that the capital is a moon of a gas giant, and that's a big mining operation, getting something out of the gas giant and processing it. And that there's a whole industrial complex. This is a full industrial system. And then they came up to Arico. And there's Arico. We can see that it has a planetoid belt or an asteroid belt as the capital. We can see it spinning, and they started there and bounced around some different locations in the asteroid belt and eventually moved their way in because they had rumors of an ancient or a corporation's abandoned laboratory that had ancient artifacts within it. A nice trope for a traveler or a mothership. And they're inside that asteroid belt as we speak now, and they'll eventually have to come back out and go back to the Rico belt. And that is the new addition to this version 0.11. There are some other changes, but I think that's the coolest, and it's kind of fun to be able to go through and just sort of see how these systems look from this point of view. It won't work if you import, I shouldn't say it won't work, it will work if you import OTU but there's no system details in any of the OTUs. So you go to Traveler Map and pull down the Spinward Marches, unless you generate extra worlds, you're not gonna see anything, because Traveler Map doesn't keep things at that level of detail. But if you do generate your own subsectors or sectors, and you want to be able to look at the systems in this view, this is now available. It's available, and it's by the time I push this video out, it should be available in production for version 0.11. All right. Have a good one. Play with it. I hope you enjoy it.